flight. Okay, can everybody hear me okay and hear the music okay? Can everybody hear me okay, hear the music okay? Alright. Very good. Well, again, aloha and welcome aboard. I'm Scott. Next to me we have Nita and John. Behind them is Ho Yim. Behind me we've got Nikki and Brandon. Okay. It is January 19th, 2014. This is the 7 a.m. Big Island Spectacular Tour. Now, did everybody see the safety video briefing? Good. Any questions about what you saw in that video briefing? No questions? Okay, great. We'll be out of here in a second then. Quickly before we go, I just want to talk about the microphones. We have them throughout the aircraft. Brandon and Nikki, you two share a microphone. To use it, press and hold the button down, put it close to your mouth, speaking to the top. It's important to hold it real close to your mouth. Too far away from your mouth, I'm not going to be able to hear you. Okay? It's an interactive tour. You can ask questions, you can talk to each other. Sing along with the music if you want. You just have to turn off the microphones for takeoffs and landings. They're going to be deactivated for the first couple minutes. Okay. Are we ready? All right, let's do it. Okay, everybody, we are on our way. Just departed the Waikoloa heliport. We're climbing up through 1,500 feet above sea level. Going to be heading generally southeast bound for a while. And we're on our way to see Kilauea, the Big Island's erupting volcano. I have turned the passenger microphones back on again. I'll do plenty of talking on the flight this morning, but it's not meant to be a lecture. It's not my tour, everybody, it's your tour. So if you have questions during the flight, please share them, and if you want to talk to each other along the way, please be my guest. Just one thing to keep in mind regarding the microphones. If you do ever ask me a question and I don't respond to it, I'm never ignoring you. Sometimes I'm just not hearing you because of the voices in my head. No, I'm not crazy. I'm talking about radio traffic, other pilots, and air traffic control. You guys won't hear the radios, but they can get very, very busy at times. So if I miss something you say because of the radios, just be patient with me. Give me a minute or two, and then try me again later, okay? Great, thanks. Now I'll do my best to make this as smooth and comfortable a flight as possible. Any comfort issues along the way, let me know, and I'll do what I can. As we climb and descend, as we change altitudes, you'll need to occasionally equalize the pressure in your ears. And you can do that by yawning, swallowing, chewing gum, or just moving your jaw around. Not supposed to be windy today, so the air should be relatively smooth. If we ever get any unexpected turbulence, making you feel unwell, or if you ever feel unwell because of any of my flying or maneuvering, again, let me know. And don't forget about all the little white bags you'll find all throughout the aircraft. And we like to call those things comfort bags. Yeah, I don't think we're fooling anybody. I think everybody knows what they really are. No such thing as grabbing one too soon, okay? All right, enough said about that. So Nita and John, where are you two from?
California.
Oh, what part? What area?
San Francisco?
Yeah, I like that city. Lived in San Jose for a couple years. Nikki and Brandon, how about you two? Where are you two from?
Orange County.
Orange County, California. Welcome. And then Ho-Yim, how about you? Where are you from, sir? You have your own microphone. It may be on the seat right next to you. Look for a curly cord. No, he's got his own. He needs to find his own. Look for a curly cord. Not a straight cord, a curly cord. Looks like this. Oh yeah, look. Look up here. This is what it looks like. Look for that.
Sorry, I find it from Hong Kong.
From Hong Kong. Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, just keep that mic somewhere nearby, so if you have any questions along the way, you can ask them. All right, well again, welcome aboard everybody. Welcome to the Big Island. We have 8 islands that make up the state of Hawaii. This is the largest of the 8. This island's larger than the other 7 combined. So they don't call it the Big Island for nothing. All the Hawaiian Islands are volcanic in origin. They were all created through the growth of volcanoes. Layer upon layer of lava flows piling up is how the islands were formed. The other Hawaiian Islands are each made up of 1 or 2 volcanoes. The Big Island has 5. That's why the island's so much larger than the others. Now our tour flight this morning will focus on 2 of the 5. We'll focus on the youngest and the oldest. Kilauea is where we're headed first. That's the youngest and only erupting Big Island volcano. In fact, it's the only erupting Hawaiian volcano, period. So we'll head over there and look at the eruption. Hopefully we'll see some lava and the newest rock on the planet cooling and forming. Essentially creation going on. And then we'll go take a look at Kohala. Kohala is the Big Island's oldest volcano, Kohala is where we'll find the Big Island's deepest valleys, tallest sea cliffs, and tallest waterfalls. So that's the plan for our flight this morning. Since departing Waikoloa, we've been climbing steadily. Climbing for the saddle. Up at your 1 o'clock, you see the saddle. It's the relatively low ground up ahead, sitting between two very tall volcanoes. At your 11 o'clock, you've got Mauna Kea. Over there at about your 2 o'clock, Mauna Loa. We'll pass between the two as we climb up and through the saddle, southeast bound on our way to see Kilauea. As we approach the saddle, we approach controlled airspace. So I need to get busy on the radios for a minute or two dealing with some of those voices in my head. Gotta talk to air traffic control. While I'm dealing with them, just sit back and relax, enjoy the music, talk amongst yourselves if you want. I'll be right back with you. Okay, as we begin to climb up and into the saddle, oh, there's the sun breaking the horizon. Climbing up and through the saddle, you'll begin to notice lots and lots of hills up here, many of which will look an awful lot like tiny little volcanoes. Each of these hills is simply an old eruption site, a spot on the volcanoes where the lava didn't just flow in the past, but rather you had some pressure buildup and you had a vent form, something venting up out of the ground and into the air. Could have been lava spatter, could have been ash or cinder, or some combination. And that vented matter just piled up over time. All these hills you see are the result. Hundreds of them can be found all over the island. The Hawaiians call these things pu'us. P-U apostrophe U, pu'u. When you find pu'us in clusters or lines here on the Big Island, that often indicates that there is a crack or a weak point underneath, an area more commonly known as a rift zone. Now the rift zones and the flanks of the volcanoes are areas where lava inside often is able to find an easier path to the surface during eruptions, as opposed to having to travel all the way up to the summit of that volcano. Each of these Big Island volcanoes has at least 2 or 3 major rift zones. And as a result, when we get eruptions out here, more times than not, it's not a summit eruption we see, it's a flank eruption. And that's really what we'll see when we get over to Kilauea volcano. Not the Kilauea summit, but one specific pu'u, one specific eruption site, along its eastern rift zone that is the heart of the Kilauea eruption. And let me tell you a bit more about the 2 volcanoes we're passing between. On our left, on Brandon and Nikki's side of the helicopter, again, we have Mauna Kea. And Mauna Kea is considered dormant. It's been roughly 4,500 years since Mauna Kea's last eruption. The Mauna Kea summit up and to our left front sits 13,796 feet above sea level, making it the tallest summit on the island and the tallest summit in the entire Pacific. Because of its elevation, it's pretty cold up on top of Mauna Kea. And it's really not that uncommon to find Mauna Kea snow-capped. That's right, believe it or not, sometimes we get snow here on the Big Island.
Mighty ones, these are the champions. Heroes are the young and the old. Akebono, Musashi Maru, and Konishiki. Akebono, Musashi Maru, and Konishiki.
Yeah, the fact that Mauna Kea frequently is snow-capped explains the volcano's name. Mauna Kea is Hawaiian for White Mountain. Usually it's just lighter dustings of snow that we might get up there, but occasionally the Mauna Kea summit will get some accumulation, and people will drive up to the top of Mauna Kea, do a little skiing, sledding, or snowboarding. Which is pretty amazing. This is the Hawaiian Islands after all. You do find incredible climate variety and diversity across the Big Island. They say 11 of the 13 climate zones on the planet Earth can be found represented right here. Out to your right hand side on John and Nita and Hoyim's side. Again, that's Mauna Loa. Mauna Loa is Hawaiian for Long Mountain. Looking at its silhouette, pretty easy to see why the Hawaiians named it that. Mauna Loa has a very gently sloping surface and a very broad base, a big, big footprint. Mauna Loa is just a little bit shorter than Mauna Kea. We're talking a less than 200-foot elevation difference. So it's a bit shorter, but Mauna Loa is much more massive. 5 volcanoes make up the Big Island. Mauna Loa is over half the island's landmass. It is a beast. Mauna Loa, Long Mountain. And Mauna Loa is considered to be an active volcano, one of 3 here on the island. Mauna Loa last erupted in 1984. So again, Kilauea is where we're headed. Kilauea is found in the southeastern part of the island. The nice thing about the Kilauea eruption, and the nice thing about Hawaiian volcanoes in general, is that they tend to be relatively gentle. These volcanoes are not very explosive in nature, they're not very destructive. And their eruptions, the lava flows from their eruptions usually only affect a very small part of that volcano. Which means that living here on the Big Island near active volcanoes is not as risky as you might think. And I like to think of the Hawaiian volcanoes as being a lot like the Hawaiian people. You know, kind of easygoing and laid back. So this is what we should expect then from the Kilauea eruption, a gentle eruption and a small scale eruption. Which as far as we're concerned is a very good thing. Because if Kilauea did erupt more violently, more explosively, more destructively, they wouldn't let us fly anywhere near it. It's only because it's a gentle eruption that we are allowed to take a good close look at it. And we can do it safely day in and day out. When we get to the eruption area, that's when I'll begin to do a lot more maneuvering. I'll make left turns and right turns to put any points of interest out both sides, so everybody gets a good look. So just bear that in mind once we get there. If what we're looking at initially is not on your side of the